This is Celine Evans.
And I'm Chris Evans.
And you're on Georgia Living Podcast. Welcome.
Oh, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
How are you doing today, Celine?
It's a Tuesday.
As it is every day.
Do I have to explain a Tuesday?
I mean, well, no, I don't think you do. I think we're all pretty much understanding of how Tuesdays go.
Tuesday, yes. The kids are at school. Mission accomplished.
I think it's a refreshing Tuesday because last week we had winter break, so our Tuesday felt like a Saturday.
Right? Every time
and our
they
Wednesday,
go back to school, they come right back.
Our Wednesday, Thursday, Friday all felt like Saturdays.
Yes. So, speaking of children, dive right into talking about them, by the way. So, you know how kids say the darndest things?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Where
we
are you
always
going with this?
we always eat dinner together as a family.
Always.
And then we always talk about each other's days. And Claire decided that she wanted to tell us about what she's learning about in school. And of course, we're a very patriotic family, daughters of the American Revolution, and community service, and just very, very prideful of where we live in our community.
All things Americana.
So one of the things in our area is Bullock Hall. And if you don't know about Bullock Hall is located right off of Roswell Road, where it hits Atlanta Highway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that little corner area, it's not quite at the corner. And that is Teddy Roosevelt's mother's house, Mittie Roosevelt. And I have very fond memories of when I was a child. They would have reading days there for little kids. My mother would take me there, and I don't think it exists anymore, but I think in the gift shop, they used to have reading to little children. And the children of the American Revolution also meet there, not every month, but quite often, at the Osage Terrace, which is kind of near the well in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So she really likes Teddy Roosevelt. It was a familiar name for her, and she was very excited to share with us about the things that she learned about Teddy. So, Chris, what did she say at dinner?
Oh, you're telling this story to put this on me. Okay.
You remember it a little bit better. I just remember what she said.
So Claire is she's a funny one, right? So she's going to be the one to make jokes. She's going to be the one to kind of be the center of attention and try and make you laugh. So we're eating dinner. She's telling us about, learning about Teddy Roosevelt. And she goes, well, his name's Theodore, but when he was a kid, he didn't like the nickname Teddy. She said, because it sounded like titty. Like, okay.
Do you really think that they taught her this, or do you think she misheard?
No, I think that she just made this up on her own.
I think so, too.
I think she was just so Claire is hilarious.
I've never heard of titty.
And she is 7.
I think it's just an honest...
our first grader. No, that is not an honest mistake. She knew what she was saying because she is still saying it. It is still a joke.
Oh my God.
So now in our house, Theodore Roosevelt.
We really do like
your nickname has become good old Teddy Roosevelt, and
out of the mouth of babes.
We're starting this off with a little I guess we're dealing with some potty humor this morning, but I love it. It's so funny. It keeps things lighthearted. There's never a dull moment in our house, and that is about as foul as the language gets with her right now. Which hopefully we can keep this under control because she does have 2 older siblings. So yeah, lots of fun there.
Presidential humor, I guess.
We've had. Let's see. Anything else to report on with the family? I know we've had an Archer escape. Our dog can. He will let himself out. He will open doors if they are left unlocked. He will open gates to the
It's not even that.
backyard.
He toothpastes out of the bottom of the wire crate. Then he makes it out of 3 doors in succession. And then he scales a fence, and then he goes down to Pope High School.
He doesn't really go down to the high school. He stays in the neighborhood for the most part, but he'll go down by the creek and he'll go sniffing around where all the other dogs kind of make their mark.
You should have named him Houdini.
Yeah, I like Archer though. Let's see. And Tippett the bird is learning how to play with little dog toys, the little puzzles that you put treats in. So that's about what's going on with our family. It's been chaos the last week. We've been balancing work and 6 new listings.
Yeah.
We've been balancing winter break. Thank goodness the grandparents took the kids for 48 hours. That was a breath of fresh air in the middle of the work week. So if you don't get the opportunity to travel on every break that Cobb County gives your kids, then, we're in the same boat as you.
That's a lot of them.
It is, and there's been a lot of breaks because we had, the winter break, then we had teacher work day, and then we had sick kids. So I feel like we've been in this year for like 6 weeks, and 3 of those weeks have been at home.
But the good news is that what have you noticed around here? What's springing up from the ground?
The jonquils.
I'm so excited.
The jonquils have started blooming.
Spring is coming.
Yeah, we're almost. I think today is going to be almost 70 degrees. We are officially in fake spring 2. If you're following along with our Georgia fake seasons. But with all that said, today we're going to switch gears a little bit from what we've been doing. We're going to go, and today is a spotlight series. So we're going to talk about a day trip destination, a city where you can go and check it out and explore that's within an hour and a half to 2 hours of Metro Atlanta. And today we're going to focus on a city that we love and is near and dear to our hearts. Celine, what town are we talking about today?
Ellijay.
Woo, Ellijay.
Yeah.
Which is the apple capital of Georgia.
And they produce so many apples.
Yeah, so
gosh.
we love exploring small towns. Ellijay has a special place in our hearts. This is where our family has we have a mountain house that your in-laws built.
My in-laws.
Or my in-laws, your parents.
My parents, your in-laws.
And that's been in our family since Scarlett was born.
2017?
Yeah. So we finished that. And we've been going up there for years now, exploring the downtown area, a lot of the amenities around there. We're going to talk about some of our favorite things here. So, Celine, I don't know if you can go back. Do you remember our first visit to Ellijay?
I actually don't. No. I really don't. We've been going there for so long and so often that the first visit, I think, was probably before you were even in Georgia.
Yours might be.
I think so, because I distinctly remember going and taking the Blue Ridge train when I was very little, and I do believe that we went to Ellijay as well on that trip. It's just that Ellijay is small, so when you are a toddler or in grade school, it's kind of like, there are other things that are more memorable and stick in your brain. It's like you're losing all that right now. But no, I don't remember. It's just always been there.
Well, I remember the first time that I went to Ellijay with you.
You do?
Yep. And, or it might not be the first time, but it was one of the very first times.
Uh-huh.
It was before the Cuckoo's Nest was completed. That's the name of, your parents' property. Mm-hmm. And we had James.
Yes.
And we went up to do apple picking with him when he was very little, meeting some friends from preschool at church.
Oh, I do remember that.
So this has been a going there and doing it's got a lot of the Americana charm, right? You go there,
it's your small mountain town.
It is, and it is so adorable. I absolutely love everything about it because Ellijay has a balance of your outdoors, right? You can go and do the apple orchards. You can go and spend the day on the lake at Carter's. You can go on the river. Mm-hmm. You can hang out at a brewery, and you can
even go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this can be Ellijay is a great destination because you can make a long weekend of it. You can stay there for a week, or you can go up for a day. Mm-hmm. And whether you're into mountain biking or hiking or just want to go shopping and check out some quaint locally owned stores, then this is a great place for you. So it's an absolute great day trip. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and then if you're interested, we have put together the ultimate guide on Ellijay. This is on selectrealty.com. If you go and just search keyword Ellijay in the website, it'll be right there. Or if you're finding this episode, it's a recent post right around this time. And in this guide, you're going to be able to find everything from restaurants and what people say about them to vineyards, adventures, itinerary recommendations. It is a massive document, and it has links to their table of contents there as well. So definitely check that out. We'll have a link in the show notes to it. And also, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our podcast. We're available wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Leave us a review. It helps us spread the word in the community to other locals who are looking for similar information. And if you like watching us, check us out on YouTube. You can find us at East Cobb Evans under YouTube, and we would love to see you engaged and subscribe there. Just make sure you hit the little notification bell so you never miss an episode. All right.
So I love Ellijay because you can spend one day there or a weekend and come back home and still be up to date, or not be behind on your work, or even the kids' work. If you have children, they have homework too, so they can't get behind. It's just the right distance to where you feel like you're going somewhere, but it's right in our backyard. And that's just perfect to me.
It really is. When we went up there for the holidays, between Christmas and New Year's, and I had a closing. I was able to just come right back for the closing and be back at the cabin early afternoon, and it didn't impact our vacation at all.
Yep.
Still felt like we were able to get away. So the location is huge, and there's a lot of history around Ellijay. Some of it good, some of it not so much.
Yeah, I know. Do you want to go into that?
Well, I'll tell you that if you are a fan of Cherokee history and you study it, then the Trail of Tears marker starts in Ellijay.
It does, and a lot of us Georgians, me included, are part Cherokee. A lot of the native people around here were Cherokee Creek, and we're all intermixed, or most of us are mixed with something, a little bit of something. And even if it's a small little tiny percentage, and it is a dark time in American history. It's not nice that, they were relocated to western states. But a lot of these roads, I don't think a lot of people realize that a lot of these roads are built upon old trails.
Yeah.
Like Hightower Trail. That's Shaliford Road. Not a lot of people know about it. They were already existing, and it makes sense to where if you already have a trail or some sort of clearing, that it's less labor intensive to make a road on that. Especially if you already have buildings that are built up around those roads, that you just continue building on top of it. It's kind of like the same Roman roads were the same way.
Yep.
A lot of them still, the patterns still exist. So the Trail of Tears is another one of those, and now it is Highway, what is it called?
It's Tails Creek Road.
Tails Creek?
And Tails Creek turns into, boy, oh boy.
We'll get it.
You're putting me on the spot here.
We'll get it. Anyways, there are signs, and that's about all that there is to represent the Trail of Tears. And on our way to Carter's Lake, you can see these signs maybe every mile or so. And there aren't that many, though. And that's about all that represents, what these people had to go through. And if you think, I know you haven't really studied it because you studied Massachusetts history when you were in elementary school. And
I was down here for Georgia history.
But
did that in
you
eighth
might not
grade.
have covered it because you were in middle school when you came here.
True.
And so a lot of this stuff was already covered. So do you think, just a quiz question, do you think that they made it all in one trip?
Trail of Tears? No.
No.
No, gosh, no. That was done over years, and
No. So they actually went from fort to fort, if you had any idea. So they would do little segments at a time. And so it wasn't like they were on the road the whole time. None of this is nice, but they actually went from one to another. Now, I only mention this because I had it in my mind that they just started walking and then they ended up.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that comes from me playing Oregon Trail when I was younger. And then, you can play Oregon Trail in one sitting, right? So you get the idea, even though you're stopping off at forts, you still get the idea that it was just one continuous game. And so for some reason, my mind just put those two together.
So the highway is 76 or 282. It's Tails Creek Road. And this is, it eventually turns into Tails Creek Road, but this is the road that it comes in as Industrial Boulevard into downtown. So downtown Ellijay, you get Industrial Boulevard right there, and then if you head out towards Chatsworth, it is 76 and 282, which turns into Tails Creek right after the Dollar General.
This is the kind of small town where businesses are landmarks.
Yeah, the Dollar General is brand new, and that's the best landmark to find our.
Or you turn left at the
now.
chicken processing plant to go on to Tails Creek, right?
Yeah, or you go a mile and a half past the Red Barn
It's
to
one
get
of
to
those
the
places.
Kusawati WMA.
Yeah.
So yeah, businesses are definitely landmarks out there. It is known as the apple capital of Georgia. So lots of orchards. We've got 3 that we'll mention today. There's lots of little shops that do canned goods and apples and pies and apple cider donuts, which are my favorite, and fresh pressed cider. That's can't wait for fall again. But fun fact, did you know that our now late President Jimmy Carter had a cabin in Ellijay?
No.
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know. But I do know that he had a cabin in Ellijay, so this was a place where he would come up from Plains, and he would go and enjoy the mountains as well.
It's like the backyard for Georgians. It's their mountain getaway. A lot of people go there, and God rest his soul, Jimmy Carter. I could see him doing that, getting away and just relaxing. It's such a peaceful place.
You got to go from the peanuts to the apples. I mean, you got lots of crops here in Georgia. Down in South Georgia, we're down by Plains. You got peanuts and pecan trees, and then and then you go up to Ellijay, and you got your apples and your berries, and so we cover all the growing zones here. It's great. Now, as far as Ellijay goes, it's a great place if you love outdoor activity or scenic views. So we've got some great hiking trails here. If you're a hiker, then you've heard of the Appalachian Trail. If you're not a hiker, then you've heard of the Appalachian Trail. If you haven't, then you're living under a rock. The southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail is at Springer Mountain, and you can access that from Ellijay via the Benton McKay Trail.
We used to live on the Appalachian Trail.
We did.
Yeah. Not in Georgia, but in North Carolina.
Exactly.
Just for a little bit.
And then if you want a shorter little day hike, you can go and check out the Tumbling Waters Nature Trail, which goes over to a little waterfall. That's closer to Carter's Lake.
Now, we did take the kids at one point when they were smaller, maybe 5-ish. They were all pretty small. And we didn't make it that far. I mean, this is true hiking. It's not like you're going to a park and it's pretty level and then they can just kind of toddle around. For little kids, at least, you do have to have some muscle to do this. Yeah,
and we haven't done the Tumbling Waters Trail, but we have hiked nature trails around Carter's Lake that you can access through the Kusawati WMA, and there's some really cool ruins back there. There's some older homes that were all stone built and they're kind of crumbling. And there's a lot of kind of pasture land too that kind of opens up into some of these trails. So you could take the kids, enjoy a nice little walk, pack a picnic, and have a nice little afternoon. Ellijay is full of just laid back, relaxing stuff like this.
But please wear hiking boots that are waterproof, because we have so many little creeks and streams that if you have kids, they're going to play in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just think before you go. There's also things that you can do on the river here. The Cartacay River Experience offers guided fishing, kayaking, and tubing. So you can go and tube down the Cartacay. There's mountain biking, lots of trails. The Cartacay Bike Shop has rentals and gear. So if you're coming in from out of town, you don't want to bring all your stuff, you can just go and rent everything that you need and have a great afternoon. Just make sure you're planning in advance. Reach out to them, make sure they're open, it's seasonal, and all the fun stuff that goes with that.
Now, you're really into fishing. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Now, you're really into fishing, too. Am I wrong?
Too. That was a rhetorical question.
Yeah, we might do a few.
On your free time, you tie flies. So, you're that into it. Georgia is really well known for trout and rainbows and browns. And, of course, that's trout. But is Cartacay River one of the ones that are sought after for fishing?
It's not sought after. Now there are trout, and there are plenty of people that catch them here. But if you're really interested in trout, you can go over to Blue Ridge and access the Toccoa, which you can get to in about 40 minutes from Ellijay. So there are lots of North Georgia trout streams. There are Mountain Town Creek is in Ellijay. That's a trout destination. The issue that you get here is that a lot of North Georgia trout streams are actually privately owned. So in getting to public access, that becomes an issue. Figure it out and send me your fish. But I love seeing pictures of little North Georgia brookies. I wish we had more time to get out and fish in Georgia. Usually it takes getting away, and that's why we do it in Alaska, because I'm far away from work and nothing can take me off the river.
So there is fishing here, but it's not the best fishing.
There can be excellent fishing. So Georgia, in some of their private waters, they raise trophy trout. Mm-hmm. It just requires you to hire a guide to get access to those waters. So if you're interested in some really great fishing, there's plenty of opportunities here in Georgia. There's several guide services that are available, but what you're looking for is access to private water, catch and release fishing only if you're looking for that trophy 32, 34-inch hog.
You're making me hungry. I really like eating trout.
Well, we just had the Pacific cod last night, and we'll have to get some trout and put that together for dinner coming up soon then. So the biking, the tubing, it's great. Hiking, amazing. On the article, The Ultimate Guide to Ellijay on selectrealty.com, you'll see some of our family photos in there from some of our adventures around Ellijay. So you can really get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Celine, what do you love about the dining in Ellijay? Where do you like to eat?
Ooh, so I like to eat at River Street Tavern.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so they have outdoor seating, from what I remember. And this is classic Americana food, just burgers, beers. It's a really nice time when it's really hot, because Georgia, even in the mountains in the summertime, it's going to get hot. And so just sitting out on the patio and, enjoying that with your kids, and, if they're running around a little bit, then that's fine too. What about you?
So I love Canterbury. Canterbury is a great little restaurant. Your parents actually took me there when they were building the house.
Really? And
they had great soup and sandwiches. Everything seemed really on the healthier side, so there are healthy options. The food was delicious. It still kind of lives rent-free in my house, and but we haven't taken the kids there, so we should go back. There's also, We haven't tried this. We need to try this. Every time we're downtown Ellijay, there's this super long line for the pizza restaurant right there.
Yeah.
There's a I think it's a brick oven pizzeria right in downtown Ellijay.
Yes.
The smells are amazing. It's just that every time we're down there, we never had the opportunity to.
I think the problem is that, it's equal time to wait versus to go back home and grab a bite. So you kind of are like, do we wait here with the kids or do we go back? I don't know. And then we usually just end up going back home.
Well, whenever we're there, we're planning around events. Like, we're fitting things in. So I think when we found ourselves in downtown, we had like a game that we're getting back to watch because it was probably Georgia playing. We're there in the fall a lot.
Yes.
And we already had our dinner marinating and all that stuff. So we had to get back and cook, which meant we weren't eating downtown. We were just there to kind of check it out.
Georgia games take priority.
Always. Now, there's plenty of little sweet treat places around there, too. So I'd highly encourage you to check out. There's a little fudge shop. You've got, what's the name of there's a little coffee house.
Yeah.
So, and you can get little sweet treats. You can walk around with ice cream. There's a little bench and small park area in the roundabout in the center of downtown Ellijay. So you could just kind of go and hang out in the winter. That's where they have the Christmas tree up.
So painting a picture for those people who are listening to our podcast, and really, you can't see, we'll post those photos as well, but this is the small little town to where you have the center little park with maybe a monument or so, a little fountain, but it's not anything large. We're talking about maybe a quarter of a block, right? And then you have the 4 sides that encircle it, and the stores look like the 50s stores where you have the window showcase, and then you have the little indent to where you go into under the awning. This is typical Americana downtown. Very Americana.
Think of Back to the Future.
Did they have those?
Yeah.
They did. Okay. So Back to the
Future. It was in the 50s. Like, this is your old soda shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that coffee shop is in one of those places, and our kids love to watch people there. But where?
You'll find a photo of them staring out doing people watching on the article on selectrealty.com.
It's a mix between people and vehicles because our son loves cars, and he's always looking at the makes and models, and sometimes really classic cars will come by because it's a vacation town. People want to drive their cars up.
Motorcycles, off-road vehicles, fancy cars, classic cars. You'll see everything driving around down there, especially on a nice day.
And there is this one car gathering. Isn't it a Jeep gathering?
That's in Jasper.
But they come by Ellijay.
Yeah, I forget what time of year they do it. It's usually in the early fall, but they have Jeep Fest. We'll cover. No, we're not covering Jeep Fest. We're a Land Cruiser family. Get out of here. If you drive a Jeep, get a Toyota. Just kidding. Enjoy your Jeep. Just call us when you get stuck.
But anyways, a lot of them will come to Ellijay, and you'll see just an assortment of Jeeps coming through. Yeah. So it's fun watching them.
It totally is. And then you can't ignore this. If you're looking for a sweet treat and you're in Ellijay, you've got to go to some of the little orchards. You've got the panorama right off of 515 when you're coming into town. You've got the Red Apple Barn. These are great little shops. Panorama is not little, it's massive. But when you go in, you can get your apple cider donuts, your caramelized apples, like anything apple, all of your pralines, your homemade like southern sweets. They sell them year round, so just go and get your sweet on.
It depends on which one. So all of these are family owned, and support your local economy.
Heck yeah.
It depends on where you go. So you have those little huts with, the basics of apples and maybe some bread and some cider donuts. And then you have the bigger establishments, just like any store, where they sell more than that, vegetables and
chow, pickled
canned,
stuff, all canned goods,
some
jams.
trinkets to decorate your cabin with. I mean, it's kind of like an Ace Hardware for apples.
Oh, speaking of Ace Hardware.
What?
We should talk about the Ace Hardware in Ellijay.
Oh, that's a fun one.
So the Ace Hardware in Ellijay is not just a hardware store. It is a grill destination mecca. If you like barbecue, they have an entire aisle dedicated to barbecue spices. They have your big green egg section, your Traeger. You've got your boating section. You've got your furniture section. Boots, clothing. If like think Ariat, Carhartt, like all of your workwear, the furniture section. If you want to decorate your mountain house, they're gonna have the couches with the bear prints, and like it is such a cool place to hang around. Great selection of pretty much anything you need. If you need a Yeti cooler, they have 30 million to choose from.
Your eyes just lit up when I talked about Ace Hardware.
This is my this is like adult Toys R Us.
I would have thought the pierogies at the gas station were better.
She's not in business anymore.
Oh no.
Yeah, she didn't survive COVID.
There were really good pierogies at the gas station right by Ace Hardware, but sorry, y'all.
Yep. She opened that, I think, in 2018 or 2019, and then closed down after COVID.
Sad. Well, that happens.
It does. So, when you're here and checking out Ellijay, make sure you're just checking different places out. You can't go wrong in this town from just driving around, seeing a place that looks like you want to check it out, and stopping in. So, all right, we've covered food, we've covered some sweet treats, we've covered some outdoor activities. Now, Celine, where do you like to shop in Ellijay?
There is this one store. I don't know which one. We have our show notes here. I don't know which one it is.
Which one?
It is the one with home decor. And so this store has a little bit of trendy decor, but it also has some original art in it that I really like. The furniture pieces there are pretty unique as well. Something that you just won't find commonly in, say, the big box stores. You have to go to more the independent ones. And I always find myself, first of all, freaking out because the kids are touching everything. And,
Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
But it is, which one?
Is it that one?
Artful Ellijay, I think.
Artful Ellijay.
Yeah.
Right on the corner. Yeah, right across from the wood-fired pizza joint.
Yeah,
Ellijay wood-fired pizza.
So it is Artful Ellijay. So, that fits.
Yeah, they've got some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, I always just kind of walk in, like when you live there, you don't really know some of the names.
Yeah, we're there so much that we've never really paid too much attention to memorizing things. It's just you go in, that's the store.
Now this map that I'm looking at does help though. So yeah, that
welcome.
store is really good. It's a little bit higher end, but the furnishings you can also put into your cabin because a lot of people do have cabins there that they retreat to. And then next door, we usually make the circle around this little block because that's what a lot of people do. So we should go around this and highlight some of them because some of these stores are just really amazing.
Yeah, so let's do that. Let's say you're coming in from South Main Street on Ellijay. Mm-hmm. So when you come in, you're going to pass the Ace Hardware on your right. You're going to keep going into downtown on your left. You're going to pass Abby's Ice Cream and Frozen Yogurt. In that same little shopping center, you're going to have Blue Ridge Olive Oil, which is a great little store to go in. Great for gifting. They have fancy olive oils. They have
I see
all
a
sorts
lot
of
of
flavors.
People walking around outside with ice cream cones.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of kids just, face
full
of ice cream. And then the adults go right next door to they sell balsamic vinegar and olive oil. And they're infused with fruits and flowers and all different sorts of flavors. And it smells amazing in there. But also, it's it's healthy too, balsamic vinegar. So, you can use it. You can even put it on ice cream.
Oh, it's good on ice cream.
Yes.
And they have lots of different flavors too. So you can go and find like a raspberry balsamic, or you can find a honey lemon ginger olive oil. Like, this is the place to go if you want like obscure flavors or great dipping flavors, or you're just trying to expand your palate.
They have rubs and mixes for seasonings.
They have a whole salt cave, different types of salt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also they have little cups to where, you can taste the balsamic vinegar. Now, of course, you don't want to take an entire sample cup, because who wants to drink that much balsamic vinegar? But just a little bit of a taste, and you'll really see the difference between regular and then the infused kind. So next up, let's go. We usually go from there, and then we skip around and go across the street, because for some reason we like to go counterclockwise. We go across the street to...
So we'll go across, and then we'll start walking down River Street.
To Ellijay wood-fired pizza.
Yeah.
And then it just smells so good. And right around there, I found myself in the same situation. We start getting hungry because we smell it, and the line's out the door usually.
So at this point, we're probably putting our name on a wait list to go and eat, maybe over at River Street. And then we're going to walk around while we're doing this. So you'll check out the Blue Ridge Mountain Outfitters, which is a great store if you're looking for some unique Ellijay stickers, water bottles, any type of outfitter, like hiking gear, Keen, North Face.
They have local stickers with Blue Ridge on them. Apparel as well, hats that they have there.
Yep.
And you even wore your red apple bar.
I am
hat.
rocking. I didn't even think of it. It just matched.
Oh.
But I'm wearing. This is a Red Apple Barn hat from Ellijay, Georgia.
Not from this store.
Yeah,
but-
it's not near downtown. We'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about the Red Apple Barn if we get there. But there's lots of little clothing boutiques. You've got The Door, Unique Ellijay. There's a wine and craft.
There's a Japanese restaurant there too that I know specifically because whenever we pass it, now we don't usually go to Japanese restaurants, and the only reason is that we cook it at home. So
You eat it all the time. Why pay for it?
yeah, it's kind of one of those things, if it's in your backyard, you don't go. So there is one. I've never tried it before because I'm always cooking by myself, or, you're cooking it. What's the name of that?
Kasei, 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 sushi and sack.
Kasei. Huh. Well,
Sushi and
it's
sake,
memorable because
I
in
guess.
one of those 50 showcases, they have Godzilla stuff. And
Love
our
it.
kids really love, screaming, Godzilla!
Yeah. Well, continuing along down River Street, and with its name, it eventually crosses over the river, so that's why it's there. You've got River Street River Street Tavern next to Ellijay's Little Italian. You've got Rustic Roots Boutique and the Hometown Florist down there. Now, we like to go down River Street because there's a parking lot right off of North Ave that is usually where we end up stopping, right? We're going to go right there. We'll park.
It is a pay parking lot.
It is. It's right across from the Butcher and the Bottle. And from there, it's easy access to all of downtown. And you can even get into some of these shops on North Main Street from their rear access, which is along North Church. So it's not Artful Ellijay. I think it's Mountain Treasures, which has the back room, which is all wine, local wines. So, and they do wine tastings as well. So you can stop in, do some tastings for some local wines without having to go into the vineyards. So coming back up River Street to the square, you can turn right and go down North Main Street, and this is where you have Artful Ellijay, Mountain Treasures, Beds Etc., the City Barbershop, Green Willow Soap, Ellijay Taps, Misty Hollow Antiques.
Now, Misty Hollow Antiques.
That's
Let's
a
talk
cool
about
one.
that one.
Yeah.
It is large.
It is.
And it is your typical antique store. But it's notable because of the selection that they have. And you go up the stairs, down the stairs. I mean, it's like never ending, and it keeps going. But last time we were there, they had so many different things. Little booths for independent artists. One was focusing on Buddhism, and they had some Zen stuff, some books for sale, some, I think, chimes or candles. I don't quite remember. But then you walk over 10 feet and then it's, country stuff, signs that are antiques. And so it's a hodgepodge of a lot of things, and it's always changing because these local artists come in and then they switch these things out, from my understanding.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the store people do it. I don't know.
As far as antiquing goes, Ellijay is a great place for it because you can find a mix of old and you can find a mix of kind of upcycled things. So if you're into that, if you're into recycling and not kind of buying everything new, this is a great place to go. Because not only do you have Misty Hollow, but you have antiques on North Main, you have Main Street antiques, you have Mountain Town antiques, which we haven't gotten to yet. But these are almost all in a row. Mm-hmm. So you can go shop, 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 and hopefully find the little treasure that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So that's the North Main Street kind of section of buildings. There's also the North Side Square side, and this is where you have Dust Coffee House.
Yeah,
it's such a cute little
they have pastry
coffee shop. Yeah, fudges, coffees. They'll do a frappuccino, and that's what our kids were enjoying on a nice hot afternoon. Mm-hmm. Right next to it, you've got the Bavarian Chocolatier and Fudge Shop. You've got a little boutique called Gunpowder and Lace. And then you've got the Ellijay Marketplace and Mountain Town Antiques. Mountain Town Antiques is a two-story one where you go upstairs and they've got some furniture, as you were mentioning earlier. Downstairs, they've got a lot of different stalls. And in each stall, you've got from a different antiquer. So you may have one that's outdoorsy stuff. One section, last time we were there, they were restoring old burr grinders, clocks.
That caught your eye?
Well, I'm just thinking of the different types of things that are in there, because you'll find collectibles, but then you'll also find some real antique stuff. So old the cast iron burr grinders for coffee. People restore those and they'll sell them there. So it's got some really cool stuff. And then you also have the government offices on the square. So if you keep walking around, you'll have the courthouse. You've got the assessor's office, the sheriff's office are right there. And then coming back around onto Southside Square, you've got the Ellijay Cigar Lounge. There's another couple of little boutique and gift stores in there. And then you've got Canterbury. And that ends up being on the square-facing side of the same building set that has Blue Ridge Olive Oil and Abby's Ice Cream where we came in.
I believe that the gift store, this one.
It was basically right next to the Cigar Lounge. It's just not showing up on the map.
Oh, okay. So it was near the Cigar Lounge. There was a little gift store for kids and babies, and
it was an old bank.
Yeah. And I believe it was on the corner, and that's off of Southside Square?
Yeah, it's right at the intersection of South Dalton and Southside Square.
Yeah.
So it's that corner.
That's where our kids got little chickens, stuffed animals, and they all got one color each, with black, white, and gray. Mm-hmm. And those little chickens are thrown around all over the house.
Fun fact, when you go in there, there's this little alcove, and it's an old bank vault that you can go into, and it's part of the store. And I think they had it set up for wine tastings or something like that. They had a couple of wine displays out.
Good memory.
Yeah, weird things like that. They just stick out. I love old bank doors.
You can see the mechanism for it too.
Yeah, it was really cool. The kids loved it. We got to show them. Whenever they go there, they're all about getting a sweet treat and walking around and hopefully finding something.
What I remember from that?
What?
The mechanism, now that you mention it, the mechanism that lets the person that gets stuck inside that vault talk to the outside.
Oh yeah, there was like an intercom or phone system kind of built into it in case you got stuck.
Yes.
This was some real old-timey heavy-duty stuff. Like, I wouldn't want to get stuck in this safe.
It was cutting-edge technology then.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah.
1930s, 1940s, whenever, 50s maybe. I don't know when it was built. So we love this because everything here is shopping local. When you go into these stores, you're interacting with people who are living there year-round. They are some of the most genuine, salt-of-the-earth people, and it really is refreshing to be around that. So we are all about helping to support shopping local, especially as we're a family-owned company, right? Select Realty, Simply List, TOA Commercial, all of our brands are our family. So we can appreciate that. We don't want to give money to some big corporation that's not headquartered in our state.
So what's your favorite season to go to Ellijay?
Oh, it's got to be out. I don't know. Apple season is fun.
Yeah.
But the summer on Carter's Lake is so much fun.
All right, apple season's fall.
Apple season's fall. But if you really want to enjoy the heck out of Ellijay, go up, get yourself a mountain rental. If you don't have a boat, rent one from Carter's Marina. It is about 20 minutes from us to get on off of the highway at Tails Creek to Carter's Lake. And it is a private lake. There's, it's not private, but the lake doesn't have development around it. So, and it's the deepest lake. I'm forgetting how deep it is. It's like 440 feet. It's one of the deepest man-made lakes. I'm not going to say the world. Definitely this side of the Mississippi.
And it's not dirty.
It's super clean. It's cold. It's mountain water. It is pristine. It's so much fun. Just if you're walking around in the sand, just be aware. You can get some little leeches on you. But
they're not. They're not the Hollywood kinds.
No, they're the itty bitty, teeny weeny tiny
like
things.
The size of a rice grain.
Yeah,
and they're brown.
But amazing. Just going out there. You can call up the marina, order food, drive up. You'll have food ready. It's such a small operation. It's one marina. They run a bed and breakfast there. There's some cabins you can rent. You can rent a boat for the day, a pontoon. They keep them all maintained in great shape. And just, it's never as crowded as Allatoona or Lanier. I shouldn't be saying this publicly on a podcast because, I'm afraid that there's going to be a million boats on Carter's, but there never will be. There's only like one or two access ramps. So it's hard to get on. But if you get out there and you're going to make a weekend, Ellijay is a great place. Fun fact, there's walleye fishing in Carter's Lake. Well, there's not a lot of
what's that going to mean to other people?
Well, walleye is typically a northern fish because it has to be in cold water.
Well, that
Carter's
makes sense.
Lake is deep enough that it can get cold enough for them.
Well, then that's a wow.
Yeah, because normally walleye fishing is like think Minnesota.
Oh.
Right. North, kind of Midwestern, up north.
I've never been fishing in Minnesota.
Well, me neither, but that's where they have walleye fishing there.
I think I like the winter better than the summer, though.
Do you?
Yeah, because Ellijay is a higher elevation than southern Georgia, and so a lot of the times it is right on that border of snow and then just enough to melt, right? So you're constantly throughout winter having some snow and maybe not snow, just really cold, drizzly. But when it snows, it is so quiet, so white, and that blue glow that kind of comes off of the snow. I don't know, it's just like it's hugging you, and you can look out from our house, and it's just like this little snow town, and I think it's so cute. And our kids, being Georgia kids, they don't get a lot of snow. Now, we did get snow this year, and that was fun. But you can go 3-4 years without having any in Cobb County. Anything to really talk about, right? So when you're up in Ellijay, it tends to stick around a little bit more because of the elevation, and they get to go up there and say, oh, we played in snow. It's Georgia standards. We're talking about half an inch, maybe an inch, right? But as long as these Georgia kids can make a snowball and throw it at somebody, mainly me, they're happy.
Or
That's
me.
all that they could ask for.
They love it.
So I really love the winter, and then being by that fireplace and looking out at the mountains, it's just so pretty and cozy.
I will admit that when we're in winter, I will watch the weather to see if there's any potential snow for North Georgia. And if it's coming around a weekend, we will try to rearrange our schedule to be up there.
I like fall too, though, because of in Japanese it's koyo, the changing of the colors of the leaves.
Yep.
And, there may be 1 or 2 weekends where it's really bright red, really vibrant yellow.
It looks like the forest is on fire.
Yes. It's very short-lived, but that's worth seeing too while you eat your apple.
So, there's really not a bad time that you can go to Ellijay. The weather in the winter is mild enough. You might get some snow. I've loved ATVing in the snow up there. We've gone through old logging roads and taken the Land Cruiser out, and
you even found a little.
I found a still. Yeah. So when there's a photo actually that we included with the ultimate guide of me on an ATV that same day. So we're accessing national forest lands through kind of our neighborhood because it was close, and there's this land lot of national forest land that is covered by private land, so you can't get to it, not without trespassing or having access to somebody's land. So we're driving around, and lo and behold, we see this giant old rusted out still. And then not too far away from it, we saw one that wasn't as giant, old, and rusted out, and I think it was still in use.
Oh, my.
Because I was going with a friend of mine who lives on the mountain, and he is definitely an old country boy. One of the things he warned me of when we were doing it is like, if you hear a whistle, you stop, you turn around, and go back, because that means you have been warned that you're coming into stumbling on something you ain't supposed to stumble on. So you don't mess with them old country boys.
Backwoods knowledge.
Exactly. So, you can't go wrong with Ellijay on the seasons. The fall brings all the apples. It brings the foliage. The spring and summer, you're not going to have as many crowds, but you got access to that lake and river. Go tubing, go fishing, get out there, do something fun, hit the mountain bike trails, go hiking, check out Springer Mountain, the Benton McKay Trail, all of that. And then, so if we were to go up, and as somebody who goes up a lot, if you're trying to do this on a budget, get yourself a little rental, and on your way into town, just stop off at Ingalls. Because you can go and they have, you can hit the hot bar for like $6 or $7. You can get enough food to probably feed you for 2 or 3 meals in one.
Yeah.
These are like little hacks. If we're going up for 24 hours and we don't want to cook or mess up the kitchen, like we'll do this. And just make sure you got, a little generator if you're going to be off-grid or close to off-grid. Other than that, you're going to be just fine. Lots of stuff to enjoy. So
if you were taking me on a day date to Ellijay,
all right,
what would you do?
Let's start in the morning. Okay. So if we're going to go, I'm going to take you for breakfast at Mike's.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to, so Mike's Ellijay restaurant, we're going to grab breakfast. Then we're going to go walk around downtown. We're going to check out some of the shops that we just saw.
All right. Nice gentleman. Thank you.
Midday, Depends on what time of year. If we're around fall, maybe we're going to go check out the Apple Festival. We're going to go shop some of the local stores, or we're going to do some apple picking. We'll take you to one of the orchards and maybe get a few shots on one of those apple cannons that you can fire the cannons. In the afternoon, I'm thinking we're probably not going to want to go tubing, but we're either going to go to the Cartiquet Brewery and enjoy a pint on the water, or maybe we'll go check out the Cartiquet Vineyards for a wine tasting. And then for dinner, I'm taking you to dinner on the roof at Ellijay. We'll have a nightcap over at River Street.
All right.
There's our day. That's what I'm doing.
I have no complaints whatsoever. There is a full itinerary.
Yeah.
Good job.
So not hard to do. We have some itinerary suggestions on the guide as well. Look, the big thing here, if you're trying to do a longer thing, if you want to go for a whole weekend, arrive and visit. Why don't you check out the Ott Vineyards? Have dinner at Emily's. Hike Springer Mountain in the morning. Do lunch at Canterbury. Do some orchard or apple stuff in the afternoon. Enjoy brunch on Sunday before you go home. There's plenty to do, plenty to see, and so many people to meet. If you're going up there for a holiday, make sure you're checking out what's happening in the city. Their 4th of July celebration is spectacular. There's fireworks, there's vendors, there's food. We've gotten together with the Knights of Columbus in Ellijay and attended their barbecue fundraisers. Like it is just great to be involved. Great people, lots of retirees who are from Atlanta, and they just love the mountains, and they work in the community. They volunteer, they do things, and they're just awesome people to be around. Great mentors and role models for things I want to do when I'm older.
When you grow up.
When I grow up and retire, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I think we got a little bit of a listener challenge before we do this. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and share. If you prefer to watch us, check us out on YouTube at East Cobb Evans, or you can find us in your favorite podcast. You can always get us on selectrealty.com, which is 2 L's in select, SELLECT realty.com.
So drop in the comments if you've ever been to Ellijay, what your favorite spots are, and if you have any tips or hints for anybody who is going there for the first time. I think that would go a long way.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to Ellijay, drop in the comments or let us know, hey, what part of this is something that you're looking forward to? If there's any area that you haven't checked out that you want to, let us know. All right, so next episode, we're going to be back here. When is it? Is it after the 1st? I think it's going to be March. So our next episode, we're going to be covering some real estate statistics. We're going to go over the preliminary numbers for February and how your Atlanta and Metro Atlanta real estate markets are going this spring. It's not easy out there, but I hope you enjoyed this guide to Ellijay. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.